NLP means natural language processing. Okay, so natural language processing. So into this name we got the answer of this chapter. Means we have to process something, the natural language that we are using to speak something, to express ourselves. We have to somehow process this language. That's the main job here. So okay, so the main job that we have to do, the main task is we have to process the natural language. Okay, so now question is how we'll process this language and what we need to process this language. So let's look to an through an example. Now I am on my YouTube homepage. So in this page, just I am searching here NLP. Okay, simple, and I am picking any random video from these search results. Okay, now let's look what kind of, how will justify this is a, it means it's what is polarity of this video. Okay, how we will justify. Okay, right. Some, okay, how we will justify, how we will justify about this video. It is what means, what is polarity of it means, what is about its polarity. Okay, it may be, it may be, it may be positive or it may be negative somehow, but how will justify? If you in human, if you just see this video and just see the percentage, how much like has, how much dislike has, how much views have, according to that we can justify this thing. Okay, now the question is, suppose this kind of informations we have not. So just go to the below of the below part of this video. Just now sample we have this type of comment. Okay, these are this type of comment we have only. Now on the based on this comment, how will justifies this video, this a positive, how what is actually its review will be, or it is a its polarity will be, means its polarity is a positive kind of video or negative kind of video. Just if you just human, if you just read the comment, here I have 101 comments. So first comment is thank you so much, means it's satisfied and great. They have used the language great. And oh, unlock the best teacher achievements, super easy to understand. This kind of, from this kind of thing we can understand, yes, it is a positive, this is a positive polarity for this comment is positive, for polarity for this comment is also positive. Here he used awesome, it is positive, and he also satisfied it, thank you so much, very informative. Using this language we can conclude that yes, it is a positive kind of video. What is its polarity? So based on this polarity we can recommend something, means about its, and this is one kind of factor. Now the question is, we human, and you can read these things and we can understand is the positive comment or negative comment. But the main question is, for a system, for a machine, it's not possible to manually doing this job for a company. So for you, if you just think for YouTube, there are billions of video, and each video they have a lot of comment. So manually justify each comment, reading each comment is not totally possible for a, and it is a totally a time taking matter and resource taking matter. So it is totally out of investment of money. But somehow we have to design some machine that can read this type of text easily. They can read this kind of text, and they only not read it, and they can easily taken some decisions about this text. What is meaning about this text? It is a positive kind of text or negative kind of text. What is the sense of this text? Means such kind of algorithm somehow we have to build to understand this kind of informations that human we will understood. Okay, in a human like a way, we have some interest to some build some algorithms that our machines, our computer can understand this text to as a human way of thinking. Okay, that's I'm talking about. Now how we will doing this job? Okay, already we have learned some concept of classifications, regression, clustering, recommender systems. Already we have learned some technique. Now the questions is, for implement this technique we need some numerical quantity, unless it is not possible. But here the questions is, here we have the text quantity. So now let's see how we'll convert this text to a vector. Let's see it. I think you will understand the problem, how what is the main problem to process with text. Means the text is also two types. If we speak something, means the speech, if it speaks something, it's a voiced text, voiced data, it's a audio format text, and also you have write something. This is also a text, that is the text format data. Okay, both the same things. Now in these chapters we will learn this thing, text format data, text. So first thing that the problem that we have faced to apply some algorithms, some mathematics, so we need the vector quantity. So first thing, to process this text, we need this text to a vector. We need to somehow, we have to convert this text to a vector. So then we can apply here some mathematics. Only then we can apply some mathematics on it. So mathematics means the in machine learning, the most important thing is the linear algebra. We will see in details in the next chapter. And also multivariable calculus, that's also very important in when we learn the deep learning concept, multivariable calculus. And also we have already learned the probability statistics concept, this kind of thing actually. And optimization also, we have learned the optimization technique, gradient boosted decision, gradient stochastic gradient descent, gradient descent, means various kind of optimizations problem technique we have already learned. So in the next chapter we will see this linear algebra and multivariable calculus. Now our main job is we have to process this text to a vector format. Okay, that's somehow we have to doing this. And after doing this, then we can apply some the algorithms that already we have learned, means the classification or regression or some clustering like technique we can apply onto it. But the first question is how we'll process this thing. So this is the main questions, how we'll process this text to a vector. So there have various kind of technique to process to text a vector. The techniques are in general the techniques that are mostly used. The first one is the back of word. So we'll in the next video we'll see this thing. Then we will learn the second concept, TF-IDF. The third concept, word to vector. The fourth one is average word to vector. And the fifth one is TF-IDF to word to vector. TF-IDF word to vector. Mainly in this chapter our main target is we have to cover in details these five techniques. That's typically more generally we have used these 5 techniques to convert any text to a vector. We'll see this thing in this next video. But now the questions is, suppose somehow we can process this text to a vector format. Now the questions is how we'll find its probability. Now let's try to understand through a more simplistic way. Suppose somehow we have processed this text to a vector, and we plot this vector like this, in this way. We plot these vectors in like this way. These are the sum text, and these are the sum text. These are the sum text. These are the some text. We human, if we write this text, blue color text, if you write it, if you manually read this text, some text, and we find that these are the positive text, and in manually if you read this kind of text, then we can find that it's a negative kind of text means. So somehow if we find some plane that separate these two kind of text means two kind of vectors, somehow it is separated. And suppose let's call it is pi. Already we have learned this technique how to separate these two data through a plane pi in logistic regressions, linear regressions, and various regression techniques. Already we have learned classifications. We can easily find this job. So our main job is to now converted this text to this vector that and we can easily apply, and we can take the decision that in the left side of that plane is a positive text data, and the left and the right side of this plane is a negative data. Then we can easily take the decisions and compute it. So suppose we have take a comment from our database and just convert it by simple using these techniques, and we got a vector. And on this vector, if we apply this some kind of techniques, and we have anyhow we find this plane, then from our query text, from the query text, if we send this query text lie on the left side of the plane, then we can easily conclude that this comment, this text must be a positive text. And if it is it is the left side on the plane, then we can conclude that it is a positive text. And if it is a negative side of that plane, then we can conclude that it is one kind of negative text. So that's kind of job that we have to do. And already we have seen how to find this kind of plane, how to cluster this kind of data. So don't be worry about it. If you forget, I request you please revisit this supervised and unsupervised series. You can find all the details in. But in this chapter our main target is how to process this text to a vector. So we will see it. First concept, we will see it back of our concept in the next video. I think you got the understand. So why actually we need to convert some text to a vector. Okay, why it is important in our daily language. So if you take this kind of example, suppose okay Google, the voice command, and if you give how Google will understand our voice, what kind of word we have used. So just internally the Google have used some natural language processing algorithms that convert this voice to the text and text to the vector. And on that vector they have applied some machine learning algorithms, and on to basis of the output of that algorithm they give us output. That's the simple job at doing the okay Google and Siri, like Alexa. That's kind of job they have doing. Okay, simple. This the concept is to process this natural language to some mathematical formulated, means to some way that's it's convert to a numerical formula, numerical vectors we got, and onto that numerical vector we can apply some algorithms. Then on the basis of the output of that algorithm we give the output. That's every machine learning actually work this job. Okay, the first task is we have to somehow convert this text. Convert this text means text or sentence. Text or sentence. Somehow we have to convert this text or sentence to a vector. That's the job. So we'll see these things up to one by one. So first technique we will learn the back of word technique, that we'll see in next video.